Well, you moved too soon.
Uh-huh.
Mind you back.
Coming through.
Stand clear.
Nice try, buddy.
Hello everyone, and in today's video we're going to be talking about a movie I loved as a kid. That movie being A Quest for Camelot. Or, as I got in the habit of calling it, Camelot, because it's the only way I could remember how it was spelled. But, my own stupidity aside, I was shocked to see just how stacked of a cast this movie has. It has Gary Oldman in it, Carrie, I don't know how to say his last name, it has Eric Idle, Don Rickles, and Celine fucking Dion. And she does actually have a song in this movie, the irony being that it's the worst song in the movie. It's not a bad song, it's just the weakest by far. And I really do love seeing Carrie. I still don't know how to pronounce his last name, but I do like seeing him in movies. I don't have anything to say on it, but yeah. Anyways, enough of the pleasantries, let's just get onto the story, shall we? So I can answer if this movie from my childhood actually holds up. The movie starts out with us meeting our main character Kaylee, where we get a lore dump on the story of King Arthur. And we learn that Kaylee's dad is one of the Knights of the Round Table. But don't worry, if you don't know anything about the story of King Arthur, the movie functions just fine, even if you know nothing. But since Kaylee's dad is one of the Knights of the Round Table, he has to leave for Camelot.
I'm coming with you, Daddy.
Yes, when you're old enough, Kaylee. I will take you to Camelot, I promise.
A promise like that, in a movie like this? Would be a shame if, something happened, but I'm sure everything will be fine. But we get treated to the first of many songs in this movie. And thank God the songs in this movie are all actually pretty good. Unlike a movie that shall not be named.
Grandma got by a reindeer.
But once we get to Camelot,
Charming sing-along. Now let's get down to business.
look, I know we've known this character all of 5 seconds, and he's clearly the bad guy. But I already find him relatable. I mean, the fading hairline, the ghoulish appearance, wanting the song to be over so we can continue the plot. He's a man after my own heart. But just in case you were somehow wondering if he is in fact the baddie, well, yeah, he just straight bum rushes the king and gets absolutely bodied in the process.
I did one! One day that sword will be in my hand, and all will be mine! You're right.
I will take you to Camelot, I promise.
Well, it looks like he's about as dead as that promise. And a part of me really wants to talk shit about how he actually got one shot, but in all fairness, it was a really good shot.
He needs some milk.
Yeah, no, he's gonna need a lot more than milk after that one. He's gonna need a fucking casket. Kaylee learns of her father's death, and we get a musical montage of her growing up over the next 10 years.
And I can feel his heartbeat still, and I will do great things on my Father's way.
Where we see that she's become quite the badass and quite the tomboy, which being the early 2000s was the style of the time. But we cut back to Camelot where
Camelot has prospered beyond our greatest dreams!
It's a griffin.
oh no shit, and here I was thinking it was a giant chicken. So this giant chicken steals Excalibur, and then before it can escape, it gets jumped by a falcon and drops the sword. Which is a shame, because you know somebody's gotta go get it. The guards blow a horn that lets the entire kingdom know that Excalibur has been stolen. And we're just gonna gloss over the fact that the entire kingdom knows that this horn in particular means Excalibur has been stolen. We ain't got the time to deal with it. But this lets Kaylee know that Excalibur has been stolen. She tells her mom that she wants to go after it, to which her mom quite rationally tells her no. Kaylee is somehow shocked by this and runs off crying. Like, what did she expect her mom to be like, oh yes, my only child, go out there where you will no doubt run into monsters, bandits, and God knows what else. Trying to get a sword that your father already died trying to protect. Like this bitch. But, as Kaylee is pouting, Ruber shows up and starts wrecking shop at the farm, where we get one of the best lines in the movie.
Knock.
Ruber.
Juliana, I was in the neighborhood and I thought I'd invade.
I don't know why this line tickles me the way that it does. Maybe it's because I imagine it being like the medieval version of sliding into someone's DMs. You know, feeling cute, might invade later type vibes. Ruber then forces Kaylee's mom into helping him sneak into Camelot under the threat that if he doesn't, he'll kill Kaylee. And it's here that we learn that part of Ruber's plan to take over Camelot involves making a mechanical army using...
With this potion I bought from some witches, only one will be revered, worshipped, hated, loved, and feared.
Oh, god damn it. But during this song and dance, Kaylee finds a moment to escape.
I pray you'll be mine.
Oh no. You know, this movie is starting to feel more like an album that just happened to come with a movie. Which, to be fair, was the style of the time. But before Kaylee escapes, she overhears the Griffin, which belongs to Ruber by the way, say that he dropped Excalibur in the Forbidden Forest. So Kaylee decides to go after it, and Ruber notices her and sends 2 of his men after her. Why not just send the Griffin real quick, you might be asking? I don't know, do I look like Ruber to you? Don't answer that. But Kaylee gets chased to the Forbidden Forest where she gets saved by the character.
Oh, wait! What's your name?
It's Garrett.
I'm Kaylee. Garrett, why won't you look at me when I'm talking to you? Oh, I didn't realize you were
What?
blind.
You know, I always forget that one.
Well, my personal social nightmare aside, I mean, that's almost as bad as...
How far along are you?
What?
But Kaylee tells Garrett that Excalibur has been stolen. I mean, how Kaylee heard the horn and not Garrett amazes me. Apparently, he's blind and deaf. Even the farmer heard it and he's half a world away. Garrett decides that he's gonna go after a sword, and the falcon, that is his by the way, or is it, convinces him to take Kaylee along with them. And
I know the sound of each rock and stone.
Son of a bitch, we get a little musical number of Kaylee and Garrett traveling through the Forbidden Forest. And they eventually end up in Dragon Country, where we meet the best characters in the movie.
What are you?
Well, frankly, we're the reason cousins shouldn't marry.
And before you say it, I have to deny the accusation. No, they are not just a cheap knockoff of Zack and Wheezy from Dragon Tales. I mean, look, one of them clearly has a shorter neck. That's all I got in my defense. I'm sure that'll hold up in a court of law. But we don't get to know these characters too long before they all start getting chased by dragons and Ruber. Zack and Wheezy are able to help Kaylee and Garrett get away, and I gotta say that this scene makes Ruber look like a complete badass. I mean, he's not even scared of the dragons. He's just more bothered than anything that he actually has to deal with them. But with the gang safe and sound, we get to meet these characters properly, and we learn that their names are Devon and Cornwall respectively. And
I'm not a moron. Yes, you are. No, I'm not.
With all that bickering, I'm surprised you haven't fried each other.
Yeah, you see, unlike most dragons, he can't breathe fire or fly. Sad, really.
Oh, excusez-moi, Mr. Self-Denial, but we can't breathe fire or fly.
Only 'cause you're holding me back. If I didn't have you, I could do a lot of things.
I'd be rocking with the dinos.
Oh, god damn it. But the song is actually pretty good, and if you don't end up watching this movie, at least treat yourself to this scene. Because this song is actually pretty catchy, and the animation is on fucking point here. But Devwall are able to lead Kaylee and Garrett out of Dragon Country, and Kaylee is able to convince Garrett to take Devwall with them, as if they were actually going to be left behind. I mean, they're voiced by Eric Idle and Don Rickles, for fuck's sake. Of course they were coming along. You don't just have two comedic icons in a movie and leave them. But the gang sets up camp where we learn how Garrett became blind. And if I'm being honest, I always just assumed he was born blind. And I'm not sure if that says something about me or not. But we also learn that Garrett knew Kaylee's dad, and that he was one of the only people that believed in him becoming a knight after he became blind. So it seems like two promises died with this man. Well, talk about two birds, huh? And we get a little romantic scene between Gaylee and Carrot. Jesus fucking Christ. We get a little romantic scene between Kaylee and Garrett.
Simple. Now you try.
All right, no problem.
Take position.
Take position.
Face your fears.
Face my fears.
And hold your ground until the last possible moment. Well, you moved too soon.
Uh-huh.
Behind you back.
Coming through.
Stand clear.
Nice try, buddy.
And then we get this creepy ass scene with Ruber for some reason.
When I get my hands on that girl.
Why, you might be asking? I don't know, maybe the movie just thought we forgot about him or something? But in all honesty, it's probably just because they needed a transition shot. Because after this scene, we cut to the gang who have found the spot where Excalibur landed, only to find that it's no longer there, and Kaylee naturally blames Garrett for this. Wait, what? What?! Kaylee's reasoning is if they hadn't stopped to make camp, then they might have gotten there in time to get the sword. Which may be, but Jesus Christ, don't be a fucking dick about it. The Falcon starts trying to warn Garrett about something, but because Kaylee won't shut up! Shut the fuck up! Garrett can't hear it, and this causes him to get shot by one of Ruber's men. Kaylee is able to help Garrett get away by You know what, I'm not even gonna bother trying to explain how that worked. But plot conveniences aside, as Garrett is laying down injured, Kaylee starts to blame herself for what just happened. And I mean, yeah, he only told you to shut up like 3 times, and he even told you that the Falcon was trying to warn him of something. But Garrett, being a better man than me, tells Kaylee not to blame herself. And
Look at the sky.
oh, son of a bitch. We get a song of them falling in love, because this is an animated kids movie from the year 2000, with both a female and male protagonist. Say it with me, as was the style of the time. The gang continue their search for Excalibur, and they end up finding an ogre. Kaylee thinks that the ogre might have the sword, so they follow it to its cave. And they discover that it does in fact have Excalibur, so they come up with a plan to get it back, which involves, and I'm not kidding, dangling Kaylee off an edge over the ogre. Look, I'm not saying I could have come up with a better plan, I'm just saying there had to have been a better plan than dangling her over a fucking ogre. But right as Kaylee grabs Excalibur, Ruber shows up and wakes up the ogre, where Kaylee and the gang are barely able to escape. And Ruber and the Griffin are both sat on by the ogre and farted out. I am not kidding.
The ogre's butt.
Well, Master, at least things can't get any worse.
What a bet.
Say
Release them.
So with Ruber and the Griffin hot on the gang's trail, quite literally, the gang, in order to escape, decides to ride a dev wall down a mountain.
Houston, we have a
We know you do have a choice, so thank you for flying Dragonair. Ow! Ow! Ow!
Tell you what, next time you try to fly, and we'll hold on.
And if I was Devwall, I'd be pissed. And they actually are rightly pissed. The gang celebrates the fact that they now have Excalibur, and just as the group is nearing Camelot, Garrett tells them that he can't go with them. It's something about him being blind, which means he doesn't belong in the world of the seeing or something.
Take Excalibur to Arthur. You don't have much time.
But we'll deliver the sword together.
I don't belong in that world.
But you belong in mine.
Aww. Wait, I'm not sad, you're sad. But I'm sad too, yeah. Fuck. But as Kaylee is heading to Camelot, she decides that she has to go back for Garrett, in the name of love. But before she can do that, Ruber shows up and captures her. And now that Ruber has Excalibur, he uses the potion from earlier to permanently bind it to his arm. So that way no one can ever take it from him. As if we can't just cut off his arm. I mean, does he not realize that the rest of him is still made out of meat? Devwall sees this and tells Garrett, and Garrett and Devwall decide to go after Kaylee, but not before Devwall learns how to fly. Through the power of friendship. I'm literally not joking. Well, I mean, it's more because they learned how to actually get along, but still. But Ruber uses Kaylee's mom to sneak into Camelot, where Kaylee is able to warn everyone just a little bit too late that it's a trap. Better late than never, I suppose. Ruber forces his way to the king, and his men bar anyone else from getting in. Kaylee starts scaling the castle to help the king, where she gets cornered and falls to her tragic, yet avoidable death. I mean, come on. You know she gets saved by the absolute unit that is Devwall. But with Kaylee safe and sound, her and Garrett go to save the king while Devwall stays behind to help the Falcon take out the Griffin. Which they do, by the way. Why? Because Team Devwall all the way, baby! But Kaylee and Garrett find the king, where Kaylee is able to save him right before Ruber would have killed him. But, not surprisingly, Ruber is quite easily able to overpower Kaylee and Garrett, especially considering Garrett doesn't have the Falcon to be his eyes. Ruber then corners them against the stone. You know, the stone. The one that Excalibur itself was pulled from. The one the very city of Camelot was built around. Yeah, that stone. But Kaylee and Garrett are able to use a move that they learned earlier in the movie during one of their little romantic scenes to move out of the way at the last possible moment, which causes Ruber to stab Excalibur back into the stone, which is able to undo the magic that made Ruber's army. How? I don't know, and I don't want to be here all day, so we're fucking moving on. But this is also able to kill Ruber in a pretty gruesome way considering this is a kid's movie. But with Ruber gone and Excalibur safe and sound... Okay, I'm sorry, that's the last time I'm gonna do it, I swear. But with Ruber gone and Excalibur back in King Arthur's hands, we're able to get the happy, cheesy ending, where Garrett and Kaylee are both made Knights of the Round Table, and they presumably get married. I mean, we don't see it happen, but they do kiss and ride off on a horse that has a sign on it that says "Just Knighted" on it. Which honestly sounds like a euphemism that quite honestly disturbs the fuck out of me. But that's the story of the movie. Not bad, I must say. I am actually really glad that this movie did hold up. So, in conclusion, is this movie any good? Well, yeah, actually. I was surprised at just how well this movie holds up, actually. It's not amazing or anything, it's not gonna knock your tits off, but it is good. But not flawless, however, because as you may have noticed from the clips I've been showing throughout the duration of this video, the animation is a mixed bag to say the least. Some of the animation is amazing, like in the song If I Didn't Have You. The animation in that scene is top notch, along with many other places in the movie. The problem is, well, the other parts of the movie. I'm not going to call it bad animation, I'm just going to call it what it is. Unfinished. You can tell that the animation team just didn't have the time or budget to finish some of these scenes. And it's honestly probably a mixture of both. Like, you don't need to know anything about animation to know that something's off in this scene.
Your husband died saving my life. Saving Camelot. Lady Juliana. The gates of Camelot will always be open to you. Sir Lionel was my most trusted knight.
And you don't need to know anything about proportions to know that these two scenes are a little fucking off. Or that Ruber's eyes occasionally just disappearing isn't a good thing. I mean, it happens so much that at first I thought it was intentional, but that's clearly not the case. But overall, I would say that the animation is good, especially by early 2000 standards, but just with some unfinished areas. And it breaks my heart because you can tell from the animation that actually was completely finished, the animation team did care a lot about this project. They just weren't given the time or resources to finish it. And then there's the voice acting. Now, the actual quality of the voice acting from the voice actors is amazing. Gary Oldman knocks it out of the park as Ruber. Eric Idle and Don Rickles kill it as Devon and Cornwall. Carrie, I still don't know how to pronounce his last name, and the voice actress for Kaylee both really nail it in their respective roles. The problem is with the actual physical sound quality of the voice acting. I mean, you can really tell that they recorded a lot of these lines on different days in different rooms. I mean, hell, some of the lines actually sound like they were recorded in a fucking broom closet.
Send word across the line, Excalibur's been stolen!
Like, why is his voice echoing? He's outside. I mean, don't get me wrong, your voice can echo outside, but not like that. But again, I do feel like this is a time and a budget problem. And I'm not saying that that excuses it either. I'm not saying to sweep it under the rug like it just doesn't exist. I'm only saying this because I don't want people to see this and see the bad parts and then sweep the good parts under the rug like they don't exist. Because there is a lot of good here. This movie really is a diamond in the rough to me. It's also a hidden gem because I don't really ever hear people talk about this movie very often. And that's a shame. This movie really is a hidden diamond in the rough, if you will. And I hope that more people will discover it and appreciate it for what it is. Again, it's not going to blow you away or anything, but it is a good enough movie to be remembered. Hello everyone, it's me again, and I still don't know how to end a video, and as funny as it would be to play the same clip from last time of my mom slapping me in the face, I want to do something new and original, so this time I'm going to have my older sister slap me in the face. So just give me a second while I go and grab the old cunt.
Cunt? Really? And old?
Okay, dude, look.